On this episode of Travels with Bill, we'll look at the Winkler Water Tower and take a quick peek at the new traffic circle. We're visiting in the summer of 2021 because this is the last year the water tower will likely be standing. It was in July that Mayor Martin Harder made the heartbreaking announcement of the fate of the tower.
As you can see today, I'm standing in front of the icon of Winkler, the Winkler Water Tower. Well, it's been here around 50 years, but as all good things come to an end, unfortunately, we have to say that today, that icon may come down. The icon may come down because of the fact it takes over $1 million to refurbish it. It has some structural issues, obviously has some visual issues. We have some problems with rust on the inside, so we need to refurbish it, which will cost well over $1 million. So council has made the decision that we're going to remove it at a cost of roughly $250,000 unless somebody miraculously comes up with $1.5 million to save the water tower.
While certainly there is a hope the tower may be saved, in September of 2021 it isn't looking good and plans continue to have the tower removed. The water tower and the water plant under it were commissioned in 1964 and continued on for many years. It was 2011 when a new water plant was constructed that this plant and tower stopped being used. During the life of the water tower, having the water high up in the air provided the pressure to make water flow to taps all over the city. In many communities, they've been able to save their water towers, at least for now. But the Winkler Tower is a bit unique. It has an asbestos coating, and lately pieces of it have been falling off. It's a low-risk type of asbestos, but should it be crushed or shredded, it could still cause health issues. You'll notice the houses right under the tower as well. When the pieces are caught in the wind, they can blow a distance and could land on the roofs of those houses. Worse yet, they could hit somebody standing outside and cause injuries. Under the coating, there's lead paint. While it is possible to get the coating off, fix the tower and repaint it, the council and Winkler have decided not to spend over $1 million doing that. Tearing the tower down will cost just $250,000. You can see in the close-up view of the water tower how much of that coating has come off over the years. The tower was repainted with just some of the coating left on it at some point, and the spots you can see that look red are where pieces of the coating have been removed more recently to ensure that no more falls off and hits the ground in an unplanned fashion. Besides the paint and coating, there are also some structural issues with the tower. The railing and ladder to the tank have issues. Council's been using drones to inspect the tower. There's also some question as to how thick the metal of the tank is after years of rusting from the inside when it was full of water. As you can see, the tower has been used for a variety of communication antennas over the years. When it comes down, those antennas will need to find a new place to call home. There are certainly some other taller buildings in Winkler where many of them could be relocated. We'll pull out a bit from the tower here and take a look around the city. In the foreground, you're seeing the Winkler Recreation Area. In fact, we have a Travels of Bill episode that explores that entire area. If you're thinking of visiting Winkler or camping here, check out that episode to find out what you can do in the summer as you enjoy Winkler. Winkler has certainly been growing the last few years. When I started coming to town, it was a lot smaller. Remember when Southview Drive was the end of Winkler? Well, certainly Southview is no longer the end anymore. Winkler continues on quite a bit further south from that. There's been several new schools built as well. We heard from Mayor Martin Harder a little bit earlier on in the episode. When I was visiting with Martin a few days ago, he was reminding me that he wasn't born in Winkler. In fact, he was born in a community a little distance away. And as a teenager, he used to always say Winkler was the last place he wanted to be. Well, he still says those same words now, but they have a bit different meaning. The mayor says Winkler is certainly the last place he wants to be, but because he's here and he intends to never leave. We're looking out over the downtown of Winkler now with the water tower in the view as well. The downtown's one area that has been growing big as well. It wouldn't have been that long ago that we'd be seeing lots of elevators here in the downtown. Those have since been removed, and the water tower, sadly, looks like it will soon be next on the list of things that are gone. For many years when I come to Winkler, the water tower has always been what I look forward to. Turn the corner of the highway and see the water tower and know you're very nearly here. Winkler isn't the only place to lose a landmark structure like this. There's been a lot of water towers torn down, but I also think of the community of Russell. That's a few hours down the highway, very near the Assisipi ski area. A few years back, they made some beautiful arches in their community, made out of timber that came from an arena that was being torn down, and it wasn't long before Russell became the place that everybody knew as the community with arches. We're going to take a little look from what it's like on top of the roof of the water tower. If you're like me, you've probably never climbed the thing before, but this is the view from way up high if you were standing right on the roof taking a peek around. Well, those arches in Russell were doing good. They were very beautiful. People liked them, and one day, one fell down, quite unexpectedly. Some checking turned out all the arches were rotten. They all had to be removed over the next few days, and Russell lost what was its landmark. Well, after a little while, council there decided it was time to get a landmark back, and they did just that. They built brand new arches. Now, I don't know what Winkler could do for a new landmark, but certainly the water tower has been something that for years everybody expected to see, and Winkler is quite ingenious at finding new and interesting things to do, so it could well be that someone comes up with an idea to make a landmark even better than the water tower, and if they can make one that high up in the air, well, I'll certainly be a big fan of it. We're looking at some of the older part of Winkler here, but if you look way far, you see where the trees disappear. That's the newer part of town, of course. There's the railway track going by on its way to Morden, and we're kind of in that downtown area of more traditional Winkler here, then panning across into the recreation areas. Now, before we're done looking around here, I do want to go and show you the brand new traffic circle, because I know so many people in town have been talking about if a traffic circle is even a good idea, or if maybe it's something we're not ready for. We'll leave the top of the water tower here, fly over the new arena and event center, and we'll fly over a school as we head down the street, making our way towards the traffic circle. You maybe don't realize just how much green space there is in Winkler, or how big the city's become until you see it from the air. We're going to come back a different day and do a full aerial tour of the city so you can see just how much it's grown in the last few years. As we fly over the school here, you can see some more soccer pitches down below, and of course lots and lots of houses. There's so many houses you can't count them all, can you? The green spaces in Winkler are a little bit unique. There's a lot of communities that have a lot of park area, but maybe not all combined into one sort of park zone like we see here in downtown Winkler. There's well over a block and a half of park area that you can walk and never really see anything except crossing the occasional road. As you know, construction's been ongoing on 15th Street throughout the summer of 2021. One of the big parts of that is the traffic circle. You can see it in the right-hand side of the frame here, but let's take a quick look at the rest of the street. We're flying just at the beginning of September. You can see a piece of 15th Street is still closed as they finish off work on it. That will soon be open and ready for traffic. The roundabout's been something that's been a bit of debate. Roundabouts in general, though, have been shown to reduce fatal crashes by about 90%, injury crashes by 75%, and pedestrian crashes from 30 to 40%. Typically, there are fewer injuries and less damage to vehicles when an accident does happen at a roundabout because vehicles are moving at slower speeds, all traffic is going one way, and pedestrian crossings only have one direction of traffic to worry about at a time. There's also fewer potential conflict points for pedestrians and motorists. Drivers only make right turns, and the direction of traffic flow eliminates right angle and head-on collisions, which often occur in other intersections, causing those serious injuries. Well, without further delay, here is the roundabout. We'll watch it for a minute and see if we can see some vehicles go through it. I'll give you a bit of a spoiler though. I have to admit, I was hoping while we were filming maybe we'd see one of those rare accidents happen in a roundabout if someone didn't know exactly how to use it. As it turns out though, everybody using the roundabout today is quite used to it and behaving quite well. The roundabout working just the way it should, traffic moving through it fairly quickly, but not so fast as to be a hazard. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Travels with Bill. Now, it's been a unique episode because mostly we've just been looking at that water tower and, of course, the roundabout here in Winkler, and it's kind of meant more for the locals who are a bit nostalgic about how things used to be. Most episodes of Travels with Bill, you'll find us traveling all over the place. In fact, there's an episode we just posted about Winkler. If you have someone coming to Winkler that's maybe going camping or just wants to see town, give them a link to that episode and they can see the amazing parks, the pool, and everything else Winkler has to offer. Meanwhile, you should subscribe to the Travels with Bill channel because we're traveling all over Manitoba and Canada looking at interesting things, including the Winkler Water Tower and a bunch of other stuff as well. And you could be the first to know when we post a new video simply by subscribing to the YouTube channel. We look forward to having you do that. We're going to leave you now with some more views of the roundabout, then we'll fly over some of the fields as we head back towards the water tower and land. For now, at least, so long from Winkler on Travels with Bill.